Hello, this is History Storytime with Sophie, age 7. That's me.
And Ellie, age 5. That's me.
And our daddy.
That's me.
We like hearing about battles, chopping off heads, and kings and queens. I add in the funny bits.
I add in the disgusting bits.
And we tell a new story every week. So don't forget to subscribe.
Firstly, hello to some of our patrons.
Hello to Quinn and Reese.
Quinn is 9 and she likes our Danish Jews episode. Reese is 6. She liked our Prince Philip episode. They live in America.
Hello to Arthur. He is 7.
He lives in Suffolk, England. He likes our French Revolution episode and he's writing his own book about it.
This week was the anniversary of Magna Carta, which was signed in 1215 in Runnymede.
Magna Carta? That's not even English.
No, it's Latin.
That's the language the Romans spoke.
What does Magna Carta mean?
It's Latin for Great Charter. Charter means lists of rules. So, Great Charter means a big rule list.
And what was that? And why should we care about it?
800 years ago, England had a king. His name was King John.
He was a very bad man.
I'm a bad boy.
He used to be cruel to his barons. He had tried to steal the throne from his brother, Richard the Lionheart.
Seize this moment.
He treated ordinary people so badly that some people think this was when Robin Hood was around to save the ordinary people from King John's super high taxes.
I understand the price of freedom.
Robin Hood, riding through the glen. Robin Hood, with his band of men. Feared by the bad, loved by the good. Robin Hood.
King John decided that because he was the king, he could do whatever he wanted.
That's not right.
He thought that the laws were for the little people. He said he was in charge, so he did not have to obey them. He also thought he could tell his barons what to do all the time.
I bet they didn't like that.
However, his real problems started in France. His father had ruled half of France.
I rule these lands.
But King John was so useless a king that he lost almost all the English lands in France. His barons were really annoyed.
What's the matter with you?
They were partly annoyed that England was poorer.
But I think they were mostly annoyed that now King John had lost France. They had to see him all the time.
Evil cannot hide from my sight.
The barons got fed up with John behaving so badly all the time.
You have been weighed, you have been measured, and you have been found wanting.
They raised an army and told King John that he needed to start behaving better.
King John asked the Pope for help.
Hallelujah.
I am not alone.
But the barons had an army and were not in the mood for talking.
I shall not yield.
Eventually, King John and the barons met at the town of Runnymede.
That's near London.
The Archbishop of Canterbury told everyone they needed to talk, not fight.
Well, what are you waiting for?
The barons wrote a long document with a list of demands that they wanted the king to agree to.
They called it the Great Charter.
Which in Latin is Magna Carta.
Eventually, King John agreed and signed the document.
What sort of things did they ask for?
Some were things that the barons wanted for themselves.
Like what?
They made laws about what happened to the money that belonged to the children of barons.
But some were things that everyone wanted, like
The king could no longer put anyone in prison or give anyone a fine without a proper trial.
That seems like a very good idea.
And there were lots of little rules which aren't so important now.
What sort of little rules?
Like stopping the king from taking somebody's horse and cart without permission.
Quite right too. You can't go taking someone's horse and cart without asking.
But the most important thing about Magna Carta was that by signing it, the king agreed that he was not more important than the law.
It meant that the king agreed he had to follow the same rules as everyone else and obey the law.
It's like the headmistress of a school having to follow the same school rules as everyone else.
Love that.
We still have a queen in Britain, Australia, Canada and other countries, but she is not really in charge. Does that mean that all these rules are not important anymore?
They are still important because nowadays things like Magna Carta mean that the government has to follow the same rules as everyone else. Think of today's governments as being like the king or queen of olden days.
And did King John keep his promises?
He did not. As soon as he got away from Runnymede, he told everyone that he never wanted to sign the Magna Carta in the first place.
Is that all you've got?
Instead, he started a war against his own barons.
Did King John win the war?
No, it was a total disaster. The barons fought King John and asked the French to come and help them.
I need reinforcements.
Then, when King John was crossing some marshland, the sea came in.
Impossible. What is this?
His crown jewels, including the crown of England, were sunk into the sea. King John couldn't believe it.
It's over.
He rolled over and died. His baby son became king.
Hey, baby.
The barons decided that they would stop fighting if the baby king agreed to the Magna Carta.
He was a baby. How could he agree to anything?
The people looking after him agreed on his behalf, and all kings and queens of England and then Britain afterwards have agreed too. Later in history, whenever kings were naughty, people pointed to Magna Carta and reminded the king to stop being so silly.
Silly boy.
Is any of Magna Carta still the law?
Most of it is not law anymore, but 3 parts are.
The English church is its own church and can't be told what to do.
Amen.
The City of London, which is where all the banks are, can be in charge of itself. And you cannot give someone a fine or put them in prison without a trial.
Nice.
But the most important idea is that the king and now the government have to follow the law.
Justice.
But it only matters for Britain, right?
No, because all the places which Britain later colonised used Magna Carta for the basis of their own laws too.
Places like America, Canada, Australia, and more.
That seems like a good idea. I'm going to tell our headmistress that the school rules are for her, as well as for us.
Good luck with that one.
If you enjoyed this episode, please join our Patrons Club. We have exclusive episodes there. You can join at www.patreon.com/historystorytime. All the details are in the show notes.
Sleep tight.
Don't let the bed bugs bite.